folks. Hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I am your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, and I guess we're wrapping up the first weekend of December. If you go to tenkarstavern.com, you can participate in OSR Christmas and possibly be gifted one of the gifts that's being offered. You have to enter by 9 p.m. Monday. You enter by making a comment. Is none other than the Arduin Grimoire books or volumes 4 through 9. So, holy cow. Excuse me. So, that's US only. There's also some drive-through RPG. I guess RPG now no longer exists. What am I saying? But some drive-through gift certificates and some OSR patches from our great supporter Thad. So tenkarstavern.com. We're going to be running different gifts throughout the month. There will be 12 days of OSR Christmas plus a bonus 13th day for Three Kings Day. And there's going to be a lot of Arduin involved, a lot of other publishers, a bunch of other gifters. You just got to comment to get put into the mix. So find a thread and comment on it. So enough of that. By the way, I'm fighting off allergies. It's been a rough season. So notes on treasure. This is from Dave. Now I'm going to skip the first paragraph because it doesn't really. It's about distributing treasure. I'm more about treasure that's been distributed. Right? I don't remember percentages. And his second paragraph says a lot. It seems a lot of people like power swords, energy sabers, monomolecular filament edge swords, swords of sharpness, right? Vorpal weapons. I guess dwarven hammers, right? All the let's throw an artifact or two in there, maybe. Well, I guess that I am as guilty as anyone else on this account because a couple of years ago I gave out a sword that had an edge of mu mesons, which cut across the magnetic lines of force that bind atoms together. Now, I happen to like creating unique magic items, but my unique magic items are usually just strong enough to keep players interested and just unique enough that they'd be tempted not to give it up if they find something else that might even be better, right? Well, Dave was basically giving out artifacts, and I was guilty of that too. I'll get to that. George, the character, a great name for an RPG character in a fantasy. George, the character that received the damn thing, then went on his nonchalant way, wreaking utter havoc wherever he went, on friends as well as foes. Now, this is where it gets interesting. One DM after another saw his most cherished ugly blown away without even a fare thee well. Yes, when I first started gaming, we kind of had, well, we didn't have uh, a shared world. We just ran adventures. They were pretty much what you saw is what you got. Whether they were just graph paper filled in with boxes and hallways and filled with random shit, or it was a tournament adventure that TSR converted, or later on something from Dragon Magazine. Great. Anybody could run it, right? And even the DM usually had a PC or two running through it, at least in my games up in the Poconos, until I became the regular DM. We did whack up DMing initially. In New York, I wound up mostly being the DM. But the idea of bringing your character into somebody else's game was fairly common back then. It is, I think, much less common these days. We don't really see that, right? Your campaign is your campaign, and oh, maybe if you join a campaign mid stride, you get to bring a character in. But hey, it's like being in front of that college professor with the red pen. Yep, that's gone. Whoop, that's gone. Take this term paper back and make these corrections for a better grade. Your character is not going to be keeping a lot of the stuff that maybe you think makes them awesome. In which case, it would have been the Mew Masson's blade, in my opinion. But this is a different age. In any case, in addition, more than one friend was sliced nearly in two as George's sword lopped off the attacking Ugly's arm, and his arm, still holding the sword, continued around its arc right through anyone standing near him. Well, that's a good way to balance out this very dangerous sword. It got to be so that nearly no DM or other player in the area wanted to see George headed his way. It's right. It's an unbalanced character, not just because of stats, but because of the item that they hold. It was obviously not a good situation, but as it turned out, one of my fellow DMs had the answer. Now we don't know again if these fellow DMs were all one large group, right, where you kind of were passing off players and jumping into somebody else's game. Again, most of my decades of gaming, your campaign was sacrosanct. Right? Nobody brought outside characters into that campaign. But I do know of many groups where that was not uncommon. So, George was sent on a terrible quest by his patron god. He must fight his way down 13 levels to the very bottom of a dread and feared dungeon. If he survived, he would be enlisted into the ranks of demigods that surround all the more mighty of the gods. And if he failed, well, that would be that. To everyone's surprise, George succeeded and is now among the ranks of the demigods. There are also a couple of scrolls that summon George, and the possessors of them are rightly feared by all. George is happy, the DMs are happy, and I think I learned my lesson. Now, where did I put my lightsaber? Well, again, the lesson is when you Monty Hall it has long-term effects. Now, I had that issue early on because, you want to, the cool shit, you want to see that stuff getting used. And the hand and eye of Vecna, come on, everybody wants that shit. The Crown of Might? Well, I happen to use Tomb of Horrors and the Spheres of Annihilation that were within to remove two artifacts from my campaign early on. And with the argument being, well, they're not, you can't destroy them with that. No, you can't destroy them with that, but they can't coexist with the Sphere of Annihilation, so therefore they have been moved elsewhere. And the option was, well, you stuck your head into a Sphere of Annihilation. I could have removed your head. Be happy all they got removed was your crown. This was a good solution because the player, in this case, their character gets to be a demigod. If they, it's like, how do you want to retire your character? Oh, as a lord? No, I'll try my character as a demigod. Yes, you've reached the pinnacle. You've done it. Ding, ding, ding. You ring the bell. And then you start a new character. But I think this problem would be less in today's gaming. I don't really think we see too many shared campaigns. And this is surprising to me, too, because Dave talks a lot and writes a lot about his campaign and the campaign world. And I didn't expect that you would have characters that weren't created under him participating in that, and characters created under him participating in other worlds and possibly coming back with items that he would not have put into a game. Just my observations. Again, interesting stuff, and that's why I like finding these essays. These essays are spot on. because they make you think. So, again, today is December 5th. So you have until 9 p.m. December 6th to go to tenkarstavern.com and participate in day one of OSR Christmas. There are a lot more days coming up, so seriously, you should spend some time over at Tenkar's Tavern and comment. You know, just follow the instructions and comment. Can't get much simpler than that, folks. As always, we are still in the midst of the world of pandemic. Use your common sense. Talk to a medical professional that knows your medical history, somebody whose opinion that you value, and be guided. Don't listen to the talking heads on TV or on YouTube or anywhere else. Find your medical professionals and consult with them. Be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, and God willing, I will be back again tomorrow with another daily episode of Tavern Chat. All right, folks. On that note, later.